Hey guys, just wanted to give you a quick little reminder that we stream this podcast live every Monday on either Gavin's Altars channel or Phantom Preacher's channel, so don't forget to go check us out there as well. Links will be in the description below.
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to Think On It podcast for TC3. Tonight with me I have Tom Fewer.
Hello.
Garrtic. And Morgan, I guess, because I don't... Morgan Gamer 3? Is that what you're...
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what...
That's your Twitch? Okay. So, yeah, welcome.
Yeah. These are two of our newest members of TC3, Morgan and Garrtic here.
I forgot about that. It's the first podcast for two of the members here.
Of TC3.
Obviously not me and Tom. You have seen us in multiple. But Garrtic and Morgan Gamer 3, it's their first time in the podcast here, so we welcome them.
Thank you.
Anyway,
Thank you.
Ready Player One.
Read it. It's a book. It's good.
Yeah, do it. I haven't read it yet, but the movie looks amazing.
I finally get to be that guy. You know how those annoying fucking people who always complain about movies not being as good as the books? I finally get to be that fucking guy. Because if this movie bombs, I'm going to be so pissed.
I was about to say, just watch the movie. It'll be better.
I hope they better make it like 5 hours long.
Yeah.
I'll watch it all.
I'd probably watch it just because of all the nerd shit. Anyway, a point that I want to cover that hasn't been talked about. The director, Steven Spielberg.
Sir Spiels a lot.
Yeah. Like it's the one thing, or it's the one director out of an entire list of them. Like it's the fucking legend, Steven Spielberg, directing this movie. Odds are it's going to be good. We have maybe had one or two bad Steven Spielberg movies. I must have said Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg.
Yep.
That's definitely not surprising because if you read the book, a lot of the references are from movies that he directed. Oh,
yeah, I'm sure.
And I was definitely excited to see him come out of his fucking basement to direct this. His basement made of money. Bricks is money.
His basement made of gold.
I was about to say a basement made out of gold.
Yeah.
No, his basement is literally it's a bank safe. Like that's his basement, and it's just filled with gold bars.
Oh, yeah, that'd be pretty nice. But one thing that
his basement is Fort Knox.
One thing that I have thought about getting is Friday the 13th. And Garrtic here has really been twisting my arm with those podcasts. Or not podcasts, but streams.
I have not been twisting anybody's arm.
Twisting. Just by playing it, watching it.
If you watch it long enough, you'll actually see me twist off somebody's arm.
Nice.
That's what I like about it. I mean,
the game actually looks pretty damn good. Like, yeah. I haven't seen much of it. But...
Yeah.
And how many situations can you fucking brutally murder teenage people?
8 counselors. I mean, and actually get away with it. It's not very often.
No.
No.
How tough is it playing as Jason? It looks like it's fun as fuck.
It looks like, honestly, from what I've seen, it seems easy.
It is a lot of fun to play as Jason. The issue is that it's a lot harder than it looks because if you make one mistake as Jason, 4 to 6 people will escape.
Ooh.
Mm.
If you fail at guarding the phone even for 5 seconds, it gives people enough time to fix the phone and call the police, at which case you're probably going to have most of the people escape. If you don't keep your eye on the cars for a certain amount of time, you're going to get 4 people to escape in a car. And you basically have to know what you're doing and plan what you're going to do to try to stop them if they do get into one of them.
And basically kill anybody you come across.
So it's essentially every survival horror game ever made.
Go ahead, Morgan.
Nope. Just
Gotcha. I kind of thought it was going to be, because when I saw it, I saw like concept for it, and I thought it was going to be like a mod of Dead by Daylight.
That
Well,
is
that's
kind of what it seems like.
That actually was one of the things that was kind of funny about it. Was Dead by Daylight came out first, and then the moment the Dead by Daylight came out, they pushed back the release date on Friday the 13th by like 6 months, and then they pushed it back even more because people wanted single player and more counselors for Jason to kill in the same match. So
Single
the
player.
original idea was going to be very similar to Dead by Daylight.
Huh. Well, Dead by Daylight looks good too. I was thinking about picking that up, but at the time when it came out, I wasn't with TC3, so I didn't have anybody to play with.
I have Dead by Daylight. I don't recommend it.
Okay.
Uh,
Do you recommend Friday the 13th though?
Yes. Dead by Daylight, if you run into a group of people who are either way too good as playing the killer or people who are way too good at playing the survivors, the game gets tedious. With Friday
so
the
you gotta have
13th,
friends to play.
yeah. With Friday the 13th, if you survive as a counselor, you honestly feel like you made an achievement.
That's good. Because
Yeah.
I've seen shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen shit in videos of Dead by Daylight, and I think one of them they had multiple monsters you play as. One of them was like this witch, and from what it looked like, she's impossible to avoid. Like as soon as she sees you, she can basically fucking kill you instantly.
She's the hag. She puts these weird trap things on the ground, and if somebody else gets too close to them and triggers them, she can teleport to it.
Dude, what?
My only problem with those kind of games, with those multiplayer survival horror games, is the whole multiplayer thing. I want horror games to where I'm scared by myself. I'm sitting here and I'm actually horrified of what's gonna happen. Especially that's like Outlast. I love Outlast for that specific aspect of the unknown is ahead of you. You have no idea what's gonna happen. Even if you've seen it, you have no idea what's gonna happen.
the suspense of it.
Yeah, like fucking facing Chris Walker is one of the one of the scariest things in a video game. Like hearing those chains shake.
Yeah, I've played some of Outlast. I never got all the way through it because I ended up getting other games too. So
Yeah.
I really need to finish it. But I definitely know what you're talking about. Friday the 13th, if you get a good match, you'll actually get suspense, and Jason has stalk. So the big cue that he's close by is his music. He can actually mute it so you don't know. So he can actually scare the living shit out of you. It's happened to me a couple of times.
Oh, that's cool. So it's actually like
That'd be good.
it's still made to be a horror game.
Yes, he can also teleport around, so you actually never know where he's going to be. And if he mutes his music, like one of my favorite ways to catch somebody in the car is to pop stalk, morph in front of them, and then shift into the car. I have actually gotten people to scream on their mic as a result because I scared them that bad.
That's fun.
No. I would definitely like to thank Dead Space though for really bringing back developers into making horror games. Like I played through that game, and it's a little jump scary, but you have that dread, and the dread is important for these types of games.
Dread isn't okay. I played Dead Space. I'm currently playing through it for a series that I'm doing, but it's not like after playing Outlast, Dead Space isn't nearly as scary because you can actually fight back. Like I jump scare.
That's what I was about to say.
I jump scare easily. So I still jump scare fucking when a zombie or when an alien falls off the ceiling. Like that's gonna make me jump a little, or I'm gonna jump because of that. But because you have that ability to fight back, the fear factor, the thrill factor isn't quite as there for me as games like Outlast or Layers of Fear. It's just like you know
The
what's
visuals were
coming and you know that you can kill it.
yeah, the visuals are good, and frankly, the first half of the game was the part that had the dread and the scare. As soon as you get the line gun, the rest of the game is pointless.
Yeah, but I know what you mean, Tom, about that game like bringing back horror.
Like AAA-esque horror.
They
Yeah.
didn't really like that kind of horror wasn't really a big game genre for the longest time. Like they didn't have much for horror. Like they had some games.
You had Resident Evil and stuff
Resident
like that,
Evil,
but that was
yeah.
way too much jump scare and not much dread and terror
was
behind
less-
the story.
Yeah, it was
Oh yeah.
that there is one game though that surpassed all horror games.
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill 2 specifically. Yes, Silent Hill, because that's a game that was released around 2004, 3, 4.
I don't remember when it was released, but the original Silent Hill was so suspenseful, and then the second one just added on to it. It was freaking insane. Pyramid Head. Oh my god.
I didn't play the first one. I played the second one, and I swear to God, I was shaking every time I played that damn game. Oh, it was so good though. Like, I'm an adrenaline junkie, so I play these games just to get scared, just for the adrenaline rush of being scared and jumping.
Yeah. Like dread inspires actual fear.
Yeah, and I love that fear, and I don't know why.
You're saying, Morgan?
I hate jumping. Like I hate it. Like I'm very fascinated with horror games, but the fact is I am too chicken shit to get into a game and actually play it. Like if I started playing The Evil Within, that one.
Yeah.
On Xbox, and I just couldn't get past it because it was like the psychological thing behind it was very easy, but the horror, sort of the super suspenseful, intense moments you had, I couldn't do it. I was like, no way, I'm not doing this anymore.
That's where watching horror games comes in versus playing them.
Yeah.
One game that I mean, you can do that with basically any horror game. It's really exciting and fun to watch other people play it. One game that I would suggest strongly playing against watching is The Last of Us.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Love that first game. I didn't actually beat it. I still want to. I just haven't gotten around to beat it. Like, I played it for a while. I played it for a while, and I was super into it. But then I just kind of fell off of it. Because I didn't play it that much because I didn't play my PlayStation 3 all that much at the time. And when I did, I was playing the show, and it's the whole thing. But
yeah, I got all the way to the ending of that game, and I know the ending, so I really don't want to beat it because I don't want to see that ending.
I beat it, and oh man, that game it fucking grabs you. And it was probably one of the first games that I had that just grabs your attention, and it knows that gamers, we fuck around and we don't give a shit about in-game NPCs and all this crap. And that's how we start out the game in that game, and then it turns into. Yeah, it's like at first you're like, who's this little fucking shit? Is this like an escort mission from hell? Like this is going to be a fucking 16-hour escort mission with this little shit. And like halfway through the game, you're laughing at her jokes,
You're
and
they're making you
feel
care
for
about her, and you're like, don't
like,
die.
yeah,
you
you
actually cry. Like, yeah.
yeah, like you get halfway through the game, it's like you're laughing at her jokes. You guys split up. She goes one way, and you're like doing your own thing, but the whole time you're thinking about, is she okay? Should we split up? Like,
yeah.
and then like you get 3/4 of the way through the game, and it's like I remember the exact mission it was. It was I won't give too much away, but it was in that snowy town or whatever.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
And fucking daddy instincts kicked in a little bit, where you're just like, you want nothing more than to just jump in there and just die for this little girl in this video game.
Yeah.
Like the fucking game made you want to do this.
So,
It wasn't. Yeah.
It's like The Walking Dead for you. I've barely played it.
Oh
I
yeah.
barely played the first game. Like I love the first game already, and I barely played it. But Clementine is so fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, she is. Yeah, I've played the whole. I'm on 3rd season now.
Yeah.
On 3rd episode, and honestly, like I played the 1st season after watching it because I didn't know it from the start. I thought I'd get into it, and I played it, and honestly, Clementine is like, she's like a daughter to me at this moment in time. Like she's like seeing her grow from one season to the next. Like she's sort of growing in this world where she's has to fend for herself, and she can't trust anybody because every time she trusts people, they die, or they distrust her and kick her out of the group or whatever. And just the little moments of I don't know, like her smiling or when she's in danger, I feel like I should be there to help her, but that instinct, I can't go forward because I'm just like, why do you do this game? Why do you put me in these situations?
Why do you make me feel for a character?
Yeah, and it begins to go beyond what I call plot lock, where oh, I have to run over here and save this person. It's not have to. It's like you see that character in danger, and that's obviously the direction the game wants you to go, but you're not being sent there because you have to. You're going there because you want to.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I love the atmosphere of like Last of Us, Silent Hill, all those other games. It's the atmosphere that actually builds it up and makes you want to do that. And that's why I hated Resident Evil, the ones that have the multi people in them, like 6 and stuff like that. You as Tom said, you get plot locked into doing what they want.
Yeah, and you know it, and you don't care because it's like you're following their fucking carrot on a stick, and you're loving every minute of it because you care about the characters.
That was like BioShock Infinite for me. Like, the first 2 BioShocks, you don't really know the character. You get so personal in Infinite. Like, you know the characters' names. You know everything about... It tells you everything about these characters, about their backstories, and you hear so much about them. And then you play the fucking DLC for Infinite, and it explains everything. And that is why I love a good story in a video game. Character building is so important to me in a video game because of that.
Yeah. I'd say of the 3 BioShocks, the second one was my favorite.
It was my favorite too. I loved, I think her name was Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
I liked her far more than I did the girl in BioShock Infinite. But the main character I disliked the most in BioShock Infinity was the character you played. I just couldn't get into his story.
Booker? Fucking Booker's great. Booker's badass. I will admit, he did have his, like, BioShock Infinite's a hard game to get into because it's so damn confusing. Its plot is so messy and it goes in so many directions, and it's so hard to make sense of until you play through it for the third time. But I know what you guys mean. Like, the second game is probably the most hated out of all three of the Bioshocks. But the second game
What?
is
I love that game. You basically got to raise a child. Oh my god, I was so
Yeah.
proud of my little girl at the end.
So
I
was
know.
I.
Yeah, like I can't remember what she said. By God, I would play it again to find out. But it was
yeah.
like something. It's like I learned a lot from you, Father. It's like you kill only when it benefits you, and if something doesn't, if there's nothing for you to gain, you let them free. Like there was boss fights or whatever that I didn't kill them because I wasn't going to get anything for it. And when she said that,
Yeah.
I get a proud little tear down my eye. I'm like, oh, my little girl, grown up.
See,
And then
the
you
other-
die.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The problem
then
with
you-
the other problem with 2 is a lot of people don't like it because it doesn't really fit into the Bioshock story, but it also doesn't fit. Scratch that. The multiplayer is why people hate it. Is truly
Yes.
the reason why people hate it.
multiplayer.
I really enjoyed the
Yeah,
multiplayer.
Bioshock 2 had
Not gonna-
multiplayer.
Not
Oh,
gonna
Jesus, I
lie.
didn't know that.
Not gonna lie. I enjoyed the multiplayer because when I played the multiplayer, I was playing with a friend and I was killing him a bunch right away, and then I got the Big Daddy suit and it was over.
Well,
It wasn't even a fair fight.
yeah. And Bioshock 2 is definitely kind of a reverse dynamic because you were being told who to protect and who you had to love and who you had to, move the world for. And not
Yeah.
in a way that the game creators are like, you have to like this character. It was basically plot. You're a big daddy.
Yeah.
You're assigned this person.
Yeah.
And then like that's the whole mentality of it through the first half of the game is like, oh god, I have to do all this shit for this little girl.
Mhm.
And then you start to like the character. I would have liked Bioshock Infinite more, but what really ruined just the entire game for me was the fucking copious amounts of porn of that girl. Like I could not take
Oh,
anything seriously
yeah.
at all. Like
I know
every
what you
single
mean now.
time. Every single time I saw her in any scene, I just pictured her being railed by some fucking like huge dude.
Good God.
It just ruined the whole
I
fucking
think you're just
whole
ruined
fucking
Infinite for
atmosphere.
me.
Yeah, exactly. Every
Anyway,
time you play
anyway,
Didn't ruin anything for me.
it.
so we've been going on here. Morgan, have you played any of the Bioshock games?
I didn't get into the first or second one until just because, to be honest, I wasn't really into them sort of games. I was more into like Far Cry and all that sort of stuff. But
Far Cry's good.
But I got into Bioshock, Infinite,
Yes,
and
Infinite.
because of how pretty it was. But I never
Oh,
actually
good God.
finished the game.
Finish it.
because, like,
I urge you. Please
I
finish
You
the
don't have to.
game and then play the DLC.
But-
It is phenomenal.
I won't lie. It is worth finishing. It is.
I finished every time.
But I've I'm kind of at a hill a hill at the moment because I had an Xbox that had it on the Xbox like download thing, and my Xbox
Yeah.
died, so I had to like move on to a different Xbox. And at the moment, I can't get on the internet at my mum's, so like I can't download my computer my profile. So I'm a bit of a
Oh yeah.
a
No, that
snowball there.
If you have an
Well,
Xbox One, it's
seriously.
backwards compatible right now. So
the
Xbox 360. I'm pretty
Yeah.
old fashioned right now.
that's the toughest part about gaming. Like even with a game I really like I liked, and I'm pretty sure I might be the only person on the planet like this, but the game Thief
oh,
kind
Thief.
of like
I got
came
I
that
out.
love
game.
Thief.
Yeah, Thief
and
was
I
fun.
played it, and I just did not like the mechanics and the controls. I thought it was gonna be more like a kind of like a Bioshock-esque, bow and arrow type game where you're an assassin and it's obviously first person. It just wasn't quite what I was looking for. I might get back into it, maybe find an excuse to play it, but
I liked it. I liked the sneakiness of it because most of it's avoiding combat. And at
Yeah.
that time, it was like there's just games that were just being popped out of fucking EA, like fucking
It
candy.
was
that
dead
was
focus
shooting
on
people.
yeah.
And with that, I got probably about halfway through the game. Really enjoyed the entire time. Went to go launch it again, and all of my save files were corrupted.
Oh,
That sucks.
And no matter how much you like a game, replaying like 10 or 12 hours of what you had just played is a
Yeah.
fucking grind.
I hate doing that. Like, I like doing it after you've played a game, after you've played and beaten a game, and then going back and playing it again after a while. But don't like playing a game and then losing all that save data because you were so far. It's the worst. I've done that with countless games on my PS2. They freeze up before I save it, and I hadn't saved in like 5 hours because I was an idiot, and I lose all of that progress.
yeah, that happened to me with Witcher 3.
Oof.
Oh man, oh man, I'm so sorry.
I was 3/4 of the way through the game. Game crashed. Went to load it back up. File corrupted. I'm like, I'm done.
Oh my god, that's a fucking
nightmare.
Oh man, I can't even think of a word. I mean, I had 120 hours into the base game.
Let's see. How many hours do I have in Witcher 3 right now? It'll tell me. 292 hours.
Yeah. I had 120 hours in the base game. Then again, my buddies were fucking Jesus, those assholes. They were trying to fucking rush through it, and they're like, "What the fuck? I beat it in 60 hours. Why are you still playing?" I'm like, "I'm enjoying it. It's a goddamn game. I spent money on it."
Yeah.
But
It's
exactly. And the DLCs for that game are the best DLCs I've ever seen for any game to date. Like
better than better than Burial at Sea, which is infinite DLC. I doubt you've played it. Is it better than Tiny Tina's Dragon Keep on Borderlands 2?
Well, how many hours of gameplay did you get out of the DLCs?
Quite a bit. I don't necessarily know the number.
Each DLC
probably over 100 through all three.
Yeah, each DLC of the 2 DLCs in itself on Witcher was basically another game. You could easily dump 20 to 40 hours into each DLC. And it was like its own fucking story. And they weren't fucking cop-out, fucking escort, stupid-ass missions. They were fucking fully fleshed out stories.
Yeah.
That's why I was so mad when I got data corrupted. That was a 292 hours wasted.
I would have shot my computer in the face. I would have gone on Newegg and bought it at face and put it on and then shot it.
Continuing with the whole save file corruption thing. This didn't actually happen to me, but how many of you guys have played Knights of the Old Republic? The original Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, one of the greatest games ever made.
Nope, never played it.
Nope.
It's been some time. I played Sport Tour.
That is one of the longest games I've ever played, and I did not lose any save files. But imagine getting 3/4 of the way through that game, because that game honestly is just about as long as Witcher if you play through it fully, like if you do everything.
Are you talking about the MMO?
Not the MMO, the original game, the original Knights of the Old Republic, the first one.
Because
is long as fuck.
Because I got into the MMO for a little while, and basically stopped at the point where I had dual lightsabers, and we would log on just to watch our characters like pull their lightsabers out and put them away. We do that for about 20 minutes, and then we go play something else.
Anyway, kind of
PvP was a joke because it's all just a bunch of fucking like 12-year-old kids. Just a bunch of 12-year-old kids looking to get fucked.
Anyway,
on
kind of
on Star Wars in combat.
Yeah.
God, I need to add more detail
Yeah,
to
yeah,
this
yeah.
statement.
More detail would be a better thing there.
so
Jesus.
kind of looping little ways back here to what Morgan said about Infinite being beautiful. That was one of I remember seeing that trailer for BioShock Infinite, and I just thought it was one of the most beautiful games I'd ever seen. Of course, that was a bunch of years ago, so I didn't even have a 360 back then when it came out, and that was one of the sole reasons that I got the game, was because of how beautiful the trailers had looked. And it was one of those games that I had always wanted to play when I saw the trailers, and I'm like, this game looks fantastic. And I knew that back then, and today I play it and I'm like, holy fuck. Little did I know.
Oh yeah.
It would turn
Probably
into one of my favorite games ever made.
probably two of the most beautiful games. Well, three. Okay, we'll say three. Two of them are kind of related. So one of them was Star Citizen.
Interesting.
Yeah, beautiful game. Not yet a game because they're never going to complete that game. But Jesus, fuck, was it fun to play? I had a joystick and a thruster set up where I actually had it mounted to my chair. And
Yeah.
flying and combat in that game was fucking on point. Like whipping in and out of like asteroids and
Excuse me while I whip this out.
yeah, flying through destroyed ships and shit was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
On the opposite side, and I say this only because of the art style that I saw in the trailer for this game, the most super hype piece of garbage in the history of gaming.
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky.
Yep.
Yeah, the moment you said most hyped piece of garbage, I knew exactly what game you were talking about.
Yeah.
I think
And I
we
was
all did.
disappointed. I was disappointed from the word go with that game because I got it because at the time I was on a huge kick. I was playing Elite Dangerous, Star Citizen, and I had my thruster and my joystick, and I wanted to play another space flying game. And I started up No Man's Sky. Plugged in my what they call it, a HOTAS for the thruster and the joystick. Not compatible.
Ooh.
You can only fly with a mouse and keyboard in that game.
Wow.
I was
That
immediate-
blows.
Yeah, immediately the entire reason I bought the game shattered. And after that, I was like, I spent money on this, so I have to play it. I put 60 hours into nothing.
And the worst part of that game is its ending. You get to
I
the
know.
center of the universe and nothing. You start over.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
I never made it to the ending. I just looked it up because
Like
I probably jumped 4 times, honestly, in 60 hours of gameplay. I made 4 jumps because I wanted to explore this shit.
I was sitting like when you said that, I was thinking, oh, spoiler alert, because I kind of actually still want to play that game, even though I've heard it's absolute trash. I was thinking spoiler alert, and then you said the ending is nothing, and I'm like, ooh, maybe I don't play the game.
Yeah, don't buy it.
Don't buy it.
If it maybe comes out in free one day if it maybe comes out free with gold, I'll buy it, but that's the only time I'll ever get that game.
Like I was going to try it again after they did the base building update. And I went to go launch the game and it refused to launch. So I was like, okay, fuck you too.
Fuck you, bitch. I'll play something else. You sucked anyway.
Yeah. Right now, my favorite base building type game is actually Conan Exiles.
Yeah.
I really like Conan Exiles. You get to get slaves and everything else, and later they're going to implement a city management system. And it's more fantasy.
Is it like the Crusade games? The Crusader games?
No, not exactly. It's a lot like Ark. The difference
Okay.
is it's fantasy based and
Okay, so it's more of a first-person Minecraft game.
kind of. It's
third
got
person.
better graphics than
Third
Ark
person.
does. There's no dinosaurs. Instead, you enslave people, and you're trying to build a
That's-
city and survive.
Dark.
So it sounds like Ark or Rust. I know. I
Rust
liked
actually
the
seems entertaining.
Yeah, I like the updated base building in Rust. It was very intuitive. But it sounds like with Conan Exiles, it eventually like begins to spiral into civilization, kind of.
Yes. What their plan is to add sorcery. They're also planning on adding the city management system to where you can actually assign thralls to do jobs, and they'll
Ooh.
like guard the town, go collect resources, make weapons and armor,
Sounds like my kind of game.
stuff like that.
So, Morgan, what games are you looking forward to, I guess, or what base building games do you play regularly?
Well, Minecraft basically.
Yeah, the one game that everyone
But
plays.
I don't play Minecraft.
Ooh,
I'm
you should
not
play
really
Minecraft.
I'm not really sure at the moment because I'm still adjusting this new piece. Well, not new PC, but graphics card and everything.
Yeah.
Just testing out a few games because my last PC can't do shit. It can't do anything because the graphics card is basically basic, so it only allows you to do basic stuff, which is annoying. And basically, this PC is fantastic. Like, I could play just about anything, but I'm not so sure at the moment. I've basically not been thinking about it because I've just been so busy with life lately that I've not been in video games lately. If you know what I mean, like I've not had the time to play them. But I would just play like something at random that I'd find fascinating.
There's one
But
game I
I'm
will
not
recommend.
really-
Yeah. There's one game I will recommend. It is the most addicting game I've ever played. It is called Stardew Valley.
I've heard
It's
things.
a farming simulator. Basically a clone of Harvest Moon. But
I like Harvest Moon.
still a very, very, very good game. Like, it's essentially the spiritual successor to Harvest Moon. And I didn't really play a whole lot of Harvest Moon.
I played a lot of Harvest Moon. I played the original, the second, the one on the N64, 3 of the ones on the Game Boy.
The PS2 version, the 3D one. That's the one I know
Yes.
the most. There's more you can do in Stardew Valley, I think. Like, you can go monster hunting, you can fish, you can raise a shit ton of animals, not quite as many, I guess, but or maybe not as many, but there's so many NPCs. You can full on get married, you can upgrade your house, you can build you can raise a family.
You could upgrade your house and get married and raise a kid in the original well, not the original, but in the newer Harvest Moons.
Yeah. But I would highly, highly recommend, if you like relaxing, calm games, I would recommend Stardew Valley all day long.
Or,
It will suck you in though, just to warn you.
and this is both a suggestion and a question for Gar. Have you ever played Factorio?
No, I have not.
That is like automation. It's basically the whole game is just the embodiment of automation and the factories, and it's a pretty insane game. I'd say I played it all the way through, but basically there's an ending, and you can start over and make new factories, find new ways to make things more efficient, and it's basically like an OCD paradise
Yeah.
as far as that goes. But to loop back, just briefly, the third game I just thought was gorgeous. Battlefield 1. Don't say a fucking word, Phantom. Because he fucking goaded me into buying that game. And honestly, I don't have a lot of confidence in my computer, even though it's pretty fucking powerful. Most of the games that I play are like alpha builds and like fucking games that aren't well optimized. So they're pretty, but they don't run very well. So it kind of makes me a little skittish about how my computer's going to run like a AAA title. Played this game all on ultra. It's fucking gorgeous and immersive.
Oops. Fucking. You want to talk about Battlefield 1? When that beta came out for Xbox, I was super excited to play this. I haven't played an old war game in a long time since original Call of Duties. I was super excited. And then I played the beta, and it was shit. I streamed it, actually, and it was absolute trash. The only thing you could do in the beta, of course, was play online. You couldn't do any of the story missions. But even then, that said, hey, that was a red flag for me on the game, because I thought that this game might just be multiplayer the whole time, and I don't want that. I need a single player campaign in my games. That's why I was so disappointed with Battlefront, is it lack of single player modes, and particularly a campaign.
They didn't have single player in Battlefront?
Nope. Not in the EA remake.
Speaking of games that were either lacking in a single player story and had a lot of multiplayer, For Honor did really well in the beta. It hits the stores, it does really well for a while, and now it's bottomed out. It is a pretty good game, and its multiplayer is hellishly fun until you run into people who only play one specific character because it is a broken character.
So balancing then is an issue.
Yeah, their balancing is horrible.
Balancing needs to be an issue, particularly on MMOs. That's part of the reason why I don't play them as much as I could be, is because of lack of balancing of characters.
Oh, because what is the fucking point of having 10 fucking characters if everybody's gonna play 4?
I played Battleborn when that came out. I bought that. Actually, I didn't play it when it came out. I bought it when it was cheap. And I'm like, ooh, this game should be fun. It's pretty cheap. Overwatch has destroyed it, and now it's like $10. And so I picked it up, and I played it for a little while, thinking, oh, this game's going to be great. Online's going to be super fun. Everyone played as the same fucking overpowered character, and they wrecked your shit. If people that have been playing it since day one would have the one overpowered character, and you were done. There was no chance.
Yeah, For Honor, everybody played as the Peacekeeper or the Lawbringer, I think was his name. They were so broken that there was no way you could beat them. And even now it's that way. My favorite hero to play in For Honor is the Raider. I love the big axe. I love swinging at people and killing people with this giant axe. But when one single person can kill 4 people, it's kind of like, yeah, we're done.
Yep.
And it's a shame, because that definitely looked like a really good game. I'm definitely skittish on buying it now, because for a while, it was a fucking gimme. It was what looked like a pretty beautiful game. Kind of a multiplayer versus looking medieval fucking dynasty,
like a medieval Mortal Kombat.
It's a very beautiful game, and it is a lot of fun. The only issue is, until they balance it better, it's going to be really hard to get into, but once they do balance it, it'll be good again. It's just they've lost most of their player base already.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
like I said, part of the reason why I don't play online. I don't play a whole lot of online games because of the balancing shit. Like even with Call of Duty, there's balancing issues. Every online game you're ever gonna play, there's some balancing issue somewhere. Some guy's gonna get 50 kills in a match, or one team's gonna be overloaded. And I had a game specifically, I remember this. I was playing on Overflow on Black Ops 2, which is the worst map, my least favorite, one of them. Anyway, other than Yemen. Actually, I'm not that bad at Yemen anymore. Anyway, I was playing at Overflow, and this is like a new lobby. The game like Overflow is the map that was picked, and we lost by a shit ton. I won. I was the top of the leaderboard. I had 3 kills.
Jesus.
I went like 3 and 10, and I was the top of the leaderboard. It was god awful.
Yeah. Fucking all online shooters these days, just a lot of them feel unbalanced because in my mind, any game that you progress in a multiplayer first person setting where you can get to a point where you have something that a player who is lower level than you doesn't have that gives you an edge makes that unbalanced.
Yes.
Like when I first started playing Battlefield 1, I played it because it gave me the fucking Battlefield 1942 feels. That game was the ultimate balance. That game was, there was no levels. If you want to be a sniper, if you want to be a sniper, you get one fucking sniper rifle. That's it. And it was scaled to be exactly like the enemy's team. So it was skill. It was play
all
longer,
skill.
you get better. It was all skill. And when I was playing Battlefield 1, it's like I'm going against people who are like fucking 10, like 20, 30,
Level
40,
10.
100, 200 levels higher than me and have equipment that is so much better than mine.
10
and
times better than you. And
Yeah.
they wreck your shit and you can't level up because your team's never, like, you get a player like that in the other team, your team's never going to win, you can't gain levels, you won't get many kills, it's hard. And
yeah, it's not uphill
even
battle.
if you're good, and then you got the fucking, even then, you have smurfers that fucking go into your game, they've been playing the game for so long, they have so much experience, and they go into an older game with a lower level, so they get paired up with lower level lobbies, and they kill everyone, and they win every fucking time just to have the satisfaction of beating up noobs and beating new players.
Yeah, I always hated Smurf accounts. I've never done it.
Yeah, I
couldn't do
smurfed
it.
once. I only smurfed in one game, and I didn't really need to. League of Legends.
But that game, that is such a toxic community that it's almost like you can.
Oh,
You're
you
allowed
haven't even,
to.
you haven't
You're
even seen
allowed to
toxic.
smurf in League of Legends because it is such a toxic community. So full of. I would do it just to honestly. If I played League of Legends, I would smurf just to troll people, just to get them pissed off because there's so many screamers and people that freak out when they fucking lose, and it's such a toxic community.
I stopped playing League of Legends for the reason there were Smurf accounts, and I could not stand a chance against people.
I play League of Legends, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the game.
I liked it. I played Dota. I played Heroes of New Earth. You want to talk about toxic communities? I picked up Heroes of New Earth probably a couple of years ago. It'd been quite a long time. I picked up one of the old heroes I played and was really good with. And apparently the new meta team didn't include this. So I picked this hero, and immediately the team is like, well, GG, fuck this game. Just from the hero I picked.
just because you wrecked their
And
shit.
yeah, and no, the game didn't even start, man.
Oh, oh,
We
that's
were
some
still,
shit.
yeah, we were still in the fountain, and people were already fucking getting pissed because of just the hero I picked. And then I went with some old school starting items because I've got a specific way I play that character. He's kind of a healer, but he has the potential to do a lot of damage. Basically, his heal is a bounce, so you heal something that's in front of you, it bounces to the next either enemy uh, or to your allied creeps, and it bounces along. So what I would do is his ult is just a cloud, which reduces their defense, magic defense, physical defense, everything. And then I had one time where was getting ganked by two people who were like full on DPS heroes. I threw down my cloud and just ran around the creeps for a little while. Heal bounced and killed them both instantly because I bounced it all the way through the creep wave, and the last one hit them, and it multiplies the damage for each time it bounces. And mind you, they weren't done bitching because they were bitching when we were in the fountain, and then when I bought my items and was leaving, they were bitching about my items. Like, oh my god, look at those fucking starting items! Jesus fucking Christ! Like, League is not nearly as bad as that game.
That's why I love. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, my first night of League was hilarious because we bought the game and we're like, oh, it's supposed to be like a watered down version of Han, and a lot of the heroes are very similar to Heroes of New Earth. The only difference is, you know how you have the telegraphs when you do your skills, it shows you where you're going to hit and what your radius is and the lines and everything. You didn't get that in Han. You had to know it. You had to be able to eyeball it and know the distance of your skills and shit. And just level 0, level 1 matches were fucking hilarious coming straight off of Han. Like, just stomping League of Legends players into the fucking ground. It was unfair. And that's why the only reason I even justified making a Smurf account is because it was basically, my first account was basically a Smurf account because I had already had so much experience in MOBAs that
You were already good.
Yeah, I was already good, and it didn't even, like, the items didn't even matter. Like, if you guys played Heroes of the Storm,
I've heard that's good.
Yeah, I have Heroes of the Storm.
that game blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like, it was tough for me, mainly because there's no items. Like,
Yeah.
that blew my fucking mind. I'm like, what items do I buy? They're like, there aren't items in this game. Like, what the fuck do you do then?
Pick your talents carefully.
Yeah, it was just like, pick your talents and kill. Like,
Yeah.
I picked that up and they were just like, hey, pick this guy. I'm like, okay. And then just fucking wipe the floor. But wow, that MOBA conversation.
Going back to what you were saying, Tom, about people dropping out there. I'm so glad games penalize people for doing that nowadays.
Oh, dropping out
Like,
of
if
games.
you get into a lobby, you jump into a lobby and you drop out of a game with, like, if you're losing and you rage quit, there's a lot of multiplayer games that do that nowadays. Like, you drop out of a lobby, you're either banned for like 3 matches or something, or like there's some penalty, you lose like some money, or you just it's awesome because it starts to, like, discipline those people that have been doing that. Like, they rage out, quit before the match even started, so now you're down like 10 players, or now you're down like 3-4 players, and maybe they're like good players that would swing the match one way or another.
Yeah.
I like that, but sometimes it can get annoying, especially because my computer has a habit of closing down sometimes, especially when it gets really warm. And if I'm in the middle of a game, like say if I'm in a match with League of Legends, and that really does teach you a lesson, because they don't give you they don't give you a warning first when you first do it. I think they do it like oh you've you logged out, you shouldn't do that, and then you've got another few games. But if you do it multiple times after that, they completely go where you've got you in a queue, wait because you've done this. And I'm just like, sometimes if my computer's down, I'm just like, oh crap, I've got to like, I can't explain myself. I just
Yeah,
know
you
that
have-
I'm gonna get punished for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can say the word shit in the podcast. I've already said the word fuck like 10 times. I'm sure.
Yeah, we
Phantom's
don't
taken the camera.
really give a rat.
I've already cussed multiple times myself.
Pretty sure
The
I've
way
said
the
it.
way I see it is, I
A
prevent
lot.
myself from using profanity for a living,
Yeah.
and yeah,
So you
I
just use as much as you can.
yeah. When I'm not at work, I use as much profanity as I can because 8 hours tomorrow, I'm gonna be sitting there biting my fucking tongue, not cussing when you really want to be cussing.
And trying not to say something about somebody doing something really stupid.
Oh no, yeah. I love those
I feel like
moments.
there's a story behind that.
Oh.
We can't say it.
Yeah, we can't. But yeah, oh, it's
No, I know you guys feel though.
there's a few trigger words with people who are employed by our company. One of which is the name of a department.
Yeah.
And if anybody mentions this department when we're out on a smoke break, it just starts a fucking shitstorm of people just complaining about all of their interactions of that day.
Yep.
Oh man.
But
No,
I
but
don't like swearing most of the time. I try to keep that on the minimum, but oh my god, literally, if I'm playing a game, I'm definitely one of those that will, if I'm dying like over and over again, especially like if I'm dying straight off the bat when I respawn, I'm just like full ape.
don't
And-
even get me started.
yeah.
And I'm just like, I get told off. I'm like, but this is what happened. You do not understand what just happened. I can't help
Had I
it.
That's
been
why I love push to talk.
had I been like recording before, like had I gotten into recording at a younger age back in the day when I was still on my PS2, I would have been more popular because I would have been almost, if not more popular than Michael Jones because of how much I fucking raged playing video games. It got to
Yeah.
the point where I was fucking screaming and fucking, oh, it was bad.
Yeah. I have to watch myself when I'm recording because I'm not worried about demonetizing, but I don't like.
Yeah.
I'm kind of more of a want to be portrayed as more of a chill gamer, and most of the time I am. And I use push to talk so people don't hear me scream motherfucker at the top of my lungs. But if anybody's watched any of my PUBG videos, they end rather abruptly when I die at the end of it. And the reason being is because just a fucking 0.5 seconds after I've died is me yelling motherfucker on a hot mic because I have a hot mic when I'm recording. It's like, son of a bitch.
I do the
That's
same thing with
me.
mine when I'm playing Friday the 13th, and I'll be playing Jason. Every single time I get a pocket knife to the neck, you motherfucker.
Every time. Okay, Borderlands 2, right? It is the ultimate Vault Hunter mode, as I've said time and time again. You guys are probably tired of me talking about this. At least Tom is, since you two are kind of new here. Playing through Ultimate Vault Hunter mode on stream, just about every sentence has the word fuck in it because I say motherfucker so much. I get hit by a bullet, you motherfucker. That's all the game is. It's just me getting hit by enemies and calling them motherfuckers.
Yeah, I like playing the Psycho in Borderlands 2, so I kind of do the same thing.
I'm the right now I have Axton, and good fucking god. I should have, honestly, 0 would have been so much better for Ultimate.
Chat map.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So I assume it's getting down here then, getting towards the end. So final thoughts, I guess. I can't exactly see the chat.
Oh yeah. Final thoughts. Mine would be games are kind of like the ultimate expression of many emotions that we've actually, without even knowing it, have gone through just about all of the different types of emotions that feeling when you play games. Like loving a character, wanting to protect them, all the way up to son of a fucking bitch.
All the way to just pure rage.
So a little something for everybody. That'd be my final thought.
Yeah.
My final thought would be, it all comes down to the atmosphere. Without the atmosphere, the game is going to be trash.
Yeah, exactly. If
yes.
there is a bad atmosphere or no atmosphere in a game, it's
Only way to make it better is drinking.
Yeah.
that makes any atmosphere kind of mellow.
That makes any game.
If I have to drink to make the game better, it's not good enough. Morgan?
I think that games are just like the way that artists express themselves. Like, as you see in different games types, the different art that people use, the way they express what they're feeling at the time. Like, how they were when they were playing the game, like, not playing, like, making the game, you know, like how they were producing it. It's kind of goes with, like, as you say, the atmosphere and the suspense and the horror, and sometimes the most beautiful things imaginable. The word that comes out into images instead.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
It brings like storytelling and visuals.
Yeah, and it's basically, mine is the same thing. Video games, they're an art form. It is an underappreciated art form across society. Video games are fucking awesome because they're an art form that you can express yourself in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't have to be creating the game itself, even. Like, you can make art out of playing a game, like content creation.
Oh.
That's
and you
art.
don't have to wear pants.
That is your own art, and you don't have to wear pants.
Games are an art that you can interact with.
Creating games is the most underrated art form out there because of the depth that you can put into it, the story that you can put into it, the characters that you can put into it, the beauty that you can make, the scenery, look, everything, the atmosphere, everything is just amazing. And that is my final thought. So thanks for watching then, I guess, everyone, assuming we're approaching like last few seconds here. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the TC3 Think On It podcast. Be sure to follow all of us on Twitch and YouTube. For this episode, it is Explosive Rose, Garrtic, Tom Fewer, and Morgan Gamer 3. I'll see you guys. We will see you guys later.